There's been some rumors circulating around that a new Ocarina of Time remake is in the works. I feel like I have heard rumors about an Ocarina of Time remake for like over 10 years now, but this one seems to have some legs. There seems to be more reliable sources reporting on it, or at least leaking the information, and it's being reported on outside the obsessive corner of YouTube Zelda. No offense, you guys are great. And upon first thought, you might just think that this remake would just be a visual upgrade. I'm sure Nintendo could make an astounding visual overhaul of Ocarina of Time, especially with the Switch 2 hardware, but I don't think it would convince fans who have already played the game like a billion times. I'm sure it would sell well, but you also have to consider that the original is on Nintendo Switch Online, so why buy the new one if the gameplay is going to be the exact same, if you don't care about the visuals? It's the second part of this rumor that has piqued my interest. This remake perhaps will be more along the lines of a Resident Evil style remake, and in my opinion, that is the best way to approach a remake. Starting from the ground up and finding the spirit of the original game rather than forcing new mechanics onto the old game a la Metal Gear Solid Delta. Now, of course, this might just all be a rumor and not real, but if it is true, or even if it's not true now and perhaps in the future they do this, why would Nintendo choose to do this? Why Ocarina of Time? After Breath of the Wild came out, there were quite a few critiques. The dungeons kind of sucked, even if in Tears of the Kingdom they did make an upgrade with them. They were definitely a lot better, but still not quite up to the standard that the series is used to. The story takes a back seat. The way that you progress the story is by finding these memories, and they're all out of order, and it doesn't give that sense of narrative progression you can get from a traditional Zelda game.
Personally, I prefer the air.
In the newer style Zelda games, you're often creating your own narratives by the amount of freedom and exploration you're allowed. But also mechanically, the sense of progression is a lot different. You don't get items that unlock different parts of the game. There aren't new areas that will just all of a sudden open up to you. You can go anywhere you want. Almost every type of item is available pretty immediately near the beginning of the game. So while there's a lot of experimentation, there might not be a lot of necessarily new things introduced as you continue to play. So Breath of the Wild came out, and afterwards we got Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Now, all three of these games are fantastic, and I really love them. I love this new direction that Zelda is going in, and I want to see them continue to expand on this style. But there's a lot of fans that miss the old traditional style of Zelda. I also miss the traditional Zelda. I don't necessarily feel as strong about it as a lot of people. That's not throwing shade, I'm just expressing how I'm feeling.
I just have a lot of feelings. Okay, go home.
But Breath of the Wild is almost 10 years old, and so that means we have been in this style of Zelda game kind of for the last decade. So if you think about it, it's been 15 years since Skyward Sword, the last game in the traditional Zelda style. But if you're one of those fans that really did not like Skyward Sword, then you're looking at 20 years since Twilight Princess released. And that is, oof, I have a world. With an Ocarina of Time remake, Nintendo can kill two birds with one stone here. Or whatever the enemy is called, those crow things, or the bats. Is it Zubat? No, wait, that's a Pokemon. After the backlash of Skyward Sword, Nintendo were like, hey, we need to figure something out. As a stepping point and a point of experimentation, they made A Link Between Worlds, which A Link Between Worlds attempted to open up the linear structure of A Link to the Past. In A Link Between Worlds, you could tackle dungeons in any order. It was still kind of a traditional Zelda, but it helped Nintendo to experiment with non-linearity to get to Breath of the Wild. There's no doubt in my mind an Ocarina of Time remake would be doing the same thing, in kind of a reverse direction of A Link Between Worlds. Ocarina of Time remake could be an attempt to bring more balance to the traditional Zelda and the Breath of the Wild style Zelda, the new Zelda, and put them together to get the best of both worlds. And Ocarina of Time is the perfect candidate. It's the first 3D Zelda. There's a deep understanding of this game from both fans and Nintendo. So if they stray too far from the original vision, it's going to be pretty obvious as a developer and it'll be easy to correct course. They don't have to come up with a new world or a story or items or mechanics. It gives them a structure to work within. They can push and pull on it to see what works and what doesn't. Adding whatever they want to that they have come up with in the last 10 years of Zelda games to see what can actually work with the more traditional style of Zelda. And after going in such an extreme direction of freedom with the last 3 games, what ideas can be brought back from the old Zelda titles that can help push the series forward? The next original Zelda game, I'm sure, would learn the lessons from this remake, the way that Breath of the Wild did from A Link Between Worlds. It'll hopefully appease fans of the traditional style, hopefully not coming off as an awkward compromise, and it could also be an indication that they plan to do more remakes. And with the lengthy development times of these new original Zeldas, maybe this gives them a way to fill in those gaps with these remakes in the future. Who knows? That's just pure speculation. And as a tertiary goal, it could get newer fans of Zelda interested in playing the traditional Zeldas by giving them a taste of that. If they're playing this Ocarina of Time remake and they're like, oh wow, this is really cool, and they've never actually checked out Ocarina of Time, it's easy to boot up the Nintendo 64 app on NSO and be exposed to a beauty. Of course, it's black screen. Oh, there it is. And be exposed to the magic of the original Ocarina of Time. And it's probably the reverse of that too. I could see a situation where there are older fans who played the game when they were younger, who haven't played any of the newer Zeldas, being enticed to get a Switch 2 and play this Ocarina of Time remake, and then realizing that they really enjoyed it, that they should try out Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. So take all of that with a grain of salt. It's still just a rumor. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I've been hearing these rumors for like 10 years. But even if it is just a rumor, if Nintendo ever decided to make a remake of Ocarina of Time or another Zelda game, I believe this is their reasoning and why they would do such a thing. Why would you touch Ocarina of Time, Nintendo? It's perfect. It's perfect.